something is worth doing, then it's worth doing right. Hi, it's Barry Phillips with 2-Minute Torah. Day number 2 of the Torah portion, Naso, which means elevate. Let's go back to Bimidbar, Numbers chapter 4. And verse number 28 says, "This is the service of the clans of the sons of Gershon in the tent of appointment." And then we hear this phrase, "and let their duties be under the hand of Ithamar, son of Aaron the priest." Their duties. The idea of duty is the given role of expected service. And this role is to be carried out until the place of completion with full attention to detail. Let me say that again. Our duty is the role of expected service offered to us until the place of completion, and it is expected that we will give full attention to detail. How many times have we looked at something theoretically and said, looks good to me, what do you think? Actually, my mom and dad had an addition built onto the home that I grew up in, and my dad hired two, let's call them carpenters of theory, and they didn't use a level in the entire project. Mom still laughs about how that they looked at things and said, what do you think? It looks kind of good to me. Thankfully, the place is still standing and it's still functional, but it's square, not altogether so. When you build, you want to build right. When you do something, whether it's a craft or an effort of art or whatever it might be, you want to do a good job. At least you should. Roles and assignments are important. When I do what I'm called to do, and you do what you're called to do, and others do their roles, then the whole body functions correctly. Rav Shul gives us this analogy about one part of the body can't supplant and replace all the other parts of the body. Everything has to be in its place. Everything has to do its job. When we go over to the book of Matthew and we read in chapter number 10, verse 1 says, "And having called his 12 taught ones near, he gave them authority over unclean spirits to cast them out and to heal every disease and every bodily weakness." We go down to verse 5. "Yeshua sent these 12 out, having commanded them, saying, Do not go into the way of the nations, and do not enter into the city of Sheramonim, but rather go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, and as you go, proclaim, saying, The reign of the heavens is drawn near." And here's his instructions beyond that. "Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out demons. You have received without paying, give without being paid." That is your role, your assignment. Have full attention to the detail and do the job until it's completed. He says further, "Do not acquire gold or silver or copper for your money belts, or a bag for the journey, or 2 undergarments, or a sandal, or staves. But the worker is worthy of his food, and whatever city or village you enter, ask who is worthy in it, and stay there until you leave. And as you enter into a house, greet it. And if the house is worthy, let your peace come upon it." But here we have a twist. "But if it is not worthy, let your peace return to you. And whoever does not receive you, nor hear your words, when you leave that house or that city, shake off the dust from your feet." Now they came back rejoicing that even demons were subject to them. They were ecstatic that they could heal the sick. They were overjoyed at the idea that their message was received. However, it has to be understood that because Yeshua gave them the instruction that if you are not received, shake off the dust of the city against them, that there would be some places that simply would not hear the word. When we are called to do what it is, whatever it might be, when we are functioning in our role and assignment, there are going to be those opportunities that don't go so well. Anyone who has ever tried to do something significant for the kingdom can tell you some war stories about resistance, rejection, refusal to hear, attitudes and personalities and all of those things. What we don't seem to focus on enough is the tales of success, how that Yah moved, how he worked, and lives that were changed. And sometimes that's because we don't see the fruit of our labor yet. Seeds are planted, and then someone else is going to come along and they're going to water, and then Yah is going to give the increase. I've said this before, but I think it bears mentioning again here. That you and I are living in times of refreshing and opportunity and ability to present the word and to do so with some sense of deeper understanding and fuller grasp of things, perhaps, because previous generations prayed for these days. There are those who are already gone, who prayed for us, who cried out to the heavens in our behalf. And what they did in their intercessions for us is they parted the waters. As much as Moshe's rod held out over the sea, parted the waters for Israel to cross. Previous generations' intercessions and cries to the heavens for outpouring, for renewal, for revival, for the revelation of Yeshua to be seen, it has parted the waters and made a path for us to walk on. May Yah honor their memory and grant them great rewards in that day. Yeshua also said to us in the book of Luke, chapter number 14, he said in verse 26, if anyone comes to me and does not hate his father or his mother or his wife, his children, brothers and sisters, and his own life too, he's unable to be my taught one. Now, he's not saying hate your parents. That goes against the Creator's command to honor and to love and respect your mother and your father. But by comparison, if love for even family members overwhelms your love for Messiah, and you defer to the will and the wishes of family in opposition to doing what Yah has called you to do, if you let even your family sidetrack you, Yeshua said that's the wrong way to see things. Continuing, he says, and whoever does not bear his stake and come after me is unable to be my taught one. For who of you, wishing to build a tower, does not sit down first and count the cost, whether he has enough to complete it? Otherwise, when he's laid the foundation, is unable to complete it, all who see it will begin to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was unable to finish. Or what sovereign, going to fight against another sovereign, does not sit down first and take counsel as whether he's able to with 10,000 to meet him who comes against him with 20,000? And if not, while the other is still far away, he sends a delegation and asks for conditions of peace. So then, every one of you who does not give up all he has is unable to be my taught one. Counting the cost. If a job is worth doing, if an undertaking is worth doing, then it's worth doing right. That means counting the cost, making plans, understanding what step needs to be done first and thereafter, following your duty, giving full attention to the details. These things are important. The tendency is at times for us to say, well, I'm just going to allow the anointing to take over. And I've heard the stories of preachers who say, well, I'm just going to open my mouth and let the Father fill it. Perhaps that's worked on occasion, but studying to show yourself approved, as Rav told young Timothy, that's important. We mentioned that yesterday. Giving time to the details, paying attention to what is being said and done, and giving it your best effort. That's what Yah requires of us. Do your duty. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, shalom.